everyone, and welcome back to my channel. For this week's video, I'm going to be talking with you guys about a few series that I have dropped. So I'm going to be going through both manga and anime. And yeah, I have a couple others. I'm going to be talking about some series that I'm going to be dropping from my collection as well. So yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. But first, I am having a warm chai tea this morning. It's a cold morning here today, so figured it'd be nice to have something warm in my new mug that my mom got for me. So I'm absolutely obsessed with this. So this is going to be kind of the star of the show today. I'm gonna have it's right in the middle here, and I also want to point out that I'm going to be kind of messing around with my background a little bit. I found this the other day. I went out thrifting with my mom and I spotted that and I absolutely fell in love with it, like first second I saw it. So yeah, anyways, tangent over, just wanted to point those couple of things out. But I think we should go ahead and get started with the manga series that I have dropped first. And the first one I'm going to talk about is Kaguyasama Love is War. This is one that I watched the anime for, and I absolutely loved it. Like, I love that anime so much. One of my favorites, honestly. So I figured that I would go ahead and pick up the manga for it. And I got the first 5 in a bundle off of Mercari, so secondhand. And I read it, and I just didn't love it as much in manga form. I just didn't enjoy the series nearly as much as I do with the anime. So I found that pretty interesting, just because, you know, I can usually get that sort of feeling with a sports manga versus anime. You know, get a sense for the series a whole lot better if you watch the anime, but I thought that it wouldn't affect a series like Kaguya-sama because it's more of a romance type of series, but it did for whatever reason. So I was bummed about that, but so that one did go from my collection. That's why I don't have any volumes here to show you. So hopefully it's in another home that loves it much more than I do. But the next couple, there are only 2 more series of manga that I have to talk about, and these I am dropping. Well, this one specifically I'm dropping, and both of these are going to be unhauled from my collection, and that is Food Wars. This series I tried out in my volume 1 binge video, and I did go ahead and pick up the second volume, and I read this as well, and I kind of went through these in my January wrap-up as well. But this series it's fun, it is. But why I am dropping this series is because, for one, I think it might be a bit repetitive. This is a 35 or 36 volume series, and I just think that the overall theme of this will get pretty repetitive as time goes on. Seeing the food in the series is really nice. I picked this up because I wanted to add a food series into my collection, but the problem that I have with this is that it is very ecchi. So, meaning there shows some nudity and such, and it's just a bit too much for me. I was willing to kind of overlook it in this first volume, and that's why I picked up volume 2 and I went ahead and read that. But I just decided that it wasn't something that I wanted to continue with. So these are listed on my Mercari, which I will link down below if I can. But yeah, this is the next series. Excuse me. And the next series that I actually completed, and now it's just going to be on hold for my collection, is A School Frozen in Time. This is another series that I picked up for my volume 1 binge, and again, I talked about my thoughts on the entire series in my January wrap-up. This one is a shame, and honestly, even now looking at it, I'm considering rereading this just to make sure, because it started so great. I mean, really the first 2 volumes were just outstanding, amazing. I could not put them down. I literally read both of these within the same night, I think. And then I believe I started the third volume that night. This one was good, but towards the end, that is where the downfall of this series started to happen. My issue with this series is how it was wrapped up. This is a mystery, and it's only a 4-volume series, so I was worried that it might be rushed, but I actually didn't have a problem with the pacing at all. I just think how they explained some things in the ending, and it just didn't really work. I didn't understand any of it, and I feel like there were a lot of loose ends. So this one is going to be going. I might try to read this one more time just to see if, okay, maybe I missed something and maybe I'm just not understanding something properly, but upon first read, I was majorly disappointed with this series. But yeah, I mean, give it a try. I might try to reread this, like I said, but for now, this is going to be going. Okay, I figured I would talk about this one as well. I am not 100% sure if I'm going to be dropping this manga series, but for now it is on hold, and that is Full Metal Alchemist. This is a pretty popular one, a fan favorite. It just wasn't anything outstanding to me, at least these first couple of volumes, so I'm putting collecting the series on hold for now, just so that I can watch the anime, just to confirm that this is something that I would like to add to my collection, just because these Full Metal editions are a bit pricier. These are $20 a piece, so they're a little bit more of an investment, but they are beautiful. I love hardcover manga. The investment into them definitely hurts, but it is worth it to me. But yeah, this one is just, I'm not blown away by it initially, and I think I just need to give it some time. I did also start watching the anime, which is going to bridge me into the anime section of this video, but I have put that one on pause as well. I believe I watched like the first 7 episodes and I just lost interest. To be honest, I kept falling asleep watching the episodes, and to me that's not a good sign. Usually I will stay up and watch so many episodes of a series, but I just kept falling asleep. So eventually I just kind of dropped it to start something new. So eventually, when I'm kind of more in the mood for something like this, then I will go ahead and try and watch the anime, because it is fairly short. I believe it's 40 something episodes. Maybe I'm wrong, don't quote me on that, but yeah, I just have to be in the mood for this series, so we shall see what my thoughts on this, how they change. But this one is a series that is on hold for me at the moment. But that is it for the manga. So like I said, we're going to kind of bridge into the anime section now. So kind of touching again quickly on Full Metal Alchemist. Like I said, I am putting that one on pause. I don't think I'm going to be completely dropping that one. That's the only series that I'm kind of just, kind of putting a question mark on it, and just I might pick it up eventually again. But yeah, first one, Full Metal Alchemist, I kind of touched on it already. Next anime series we're going to talk about is ReZero, Starting Life in a New World. This one was actually the first anime series that I dropped, and it was also my first isekai. So I don't want to go and put a label saying that I don't like isekai, because I don't even know if ReZero is a good representation of an isekai. I don't know, you guys can let me know. I know that the isekai genre has a pretty big following, so I feel like if I go around saying, oh, I don't like isekai, people are gonna be like, well, you only watched one, right? So I've been trying to kind of dabble into some isekai manhwa series, and I have enjoyed those. But yeah, just getting back to ReZero, the whole concept was a bit repetitive for me and just a bit hokey. It wasn't for me, honestly. The character design is really nice. The animation of that series is really nice. So it wasn't a problem with any of that. Usually I might have a problem with the animation quality, but that wasn't the case with this one. It was just the concept of the series, honestly. So yeah, that's that one. The next one is one that I dropped fairly recently, actually, and it is Death Note. Again, this one has a pretty big following as well. I feel like some of these are going to be pretty controversial, so don't hate me for these. But Death Note, it was just I started this because a friend of mine recommended it to me that I needed to watch it, and I had a conversation with him again that it wasn't for me. I really tried, but just there were a couple of things that kind of put me off on the series. For one, the concept again seemed like it could get repetitive over time, and honestly the main character wasn't likable for me, at least, and the like devil or demon that's also kind of like a secondary main character, I just didn't like him either. There was just no character, any characters that I really connected with, so it was just boring for me, honestly. So yeah, I dropped that one eventually after like 4 or 5 episodes, and maybe I didn't give it enough time, but I just wasn't interested in continuing at all. It felt like a chore to have to go back and watch the anime, which, is never fun. So I ended up dropping that one. Okay, the next 2 series actually are both set in a high school setting. So the first one, I'll kind of go through it pretty quickly just because I dropped it fairly quickly as well. It was My Love Story. This one I dropped simply because the animation quality as well as the art style wasn't that great, in my opinion. The art style is just not something that I personally enjoy. So I find it really hard to stick with a series if I don't like the art, just because, manga and anime, the art is quite a big part of it, obviously. So if I can't enjoy that aspect of it, I drop interest really, really quickly. Even if there might be a really great story. So I might have to pick that one up in manga form just to like flip through and see if it's any better, if I can overlook it a bit more in manga form. I don't think so, but I'm willing to give it a try. But the next one is My Little Monster. This one is that, stereotypical like good girl goes after the bad boy of the school to bring him back to school. So they kind of start having interactions, and eventually she like softens his heart or whatever. It sounds like a premise that I would enjoy, and I only watched like 4 or 5 episodes of it, but the guy was just a jerk, honestly. And I can usually overlook jerk characters, but I just didn't like him at all, and I couldn't see myself growing to like him. He just seemed really full of himself. I don't know. And the girl as well, she was just a bit annoying, honestly. She was the good girl in the story, but she didn't particularly seem like, I don't know, I guess the stereotypical good girl. So just neither of the main leads were that appealing to me, so that one was dropped because of that, as well as the animation quality, and the art style wasn't my favorite at all either. Those are those 2. Okay, the last one that I have to talk about is going to be a bit controversial, honestly, I feel like, because it is so many people's favorite anime. Like, it's their all-time favorite, like, best anime ever, but I just did not end up enjoying it. and the series is Attack on Titan. I know, I feel like this is an unpopular opinion, but I watched up until season 4, part 1, and I just decided to drop it. A few years back, my parents and I watched the first season together, and none of us really continued to, continue watching, so we just dropped it. And then a couple years later, when I was getting back into manga and anime, I decided to pick it up again. And in season 2, I thought, okay, I get the hype. Like, I am on board and I'm really enjoying this series. Halfway through season 3 is where I started having issues. But I was willing to continue. After season 3 ended, I was like, you know what? Let me just continue. I have some issues, but I'll just see it through. That said, part 1 of season 4 was just atrocious, in my opinion. The story got so deep for no reason, and the story just ended up getting like super convoluted and just started to add in too many elements to where it just didn't make sense. And I don't know, I'll just leave my opinion at that I don't have any plans to continue watching this. I know that part 2 or 3 or 4, whatever it's on now, is currently streaming, but I'm seeing other people enjoying it, which, if other people enjoy it, good for you. If you like the series, I'm not gonna hate on you. But for me personally, it doesn't live up to the hype, in my opinion. I feel like I keep saying that, but I just feel like it's such a popular series, and my opinion, I didn't enjoy it. But that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Definitely let me know if there are any other series that you guys have dropped, or if you've dropped any of these as well. Or even if you think that some of these series I should give another try. I know that I have some pretty popular titles in this list. So if I need to give them another try, I will reevaluate and see if I will do that. But yeah, this is just, kind of a reminder to us all that, not every series can be a hit, and that, we all have different tastes and opinions on different series. So yeah, anyways, that's it for this one. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed it and are having an awesome day. Thank you for spending some of your time with me today, you guys. Bye.